What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. It's another edition. We are here basically every day at this point. It's going to feel weird it feels weird. We've only had like 2 off days since the season's ended, and it's felt weird in those days not talking about Palace. But today, we're going to be talking about Odsonne Edouard's price tag. But most importantly, there's been a lot of news on new contracts and players being released. So we'll be going into detail about that. That is very interesting. Some of the players that's been mentioned, some of the players that's actually left the club and signed a new deal. So we'll be getting into that and more. But as always, this channel without you is nothing. So if you do enjoy it and have a second of your time, press like and subscribe. You already know the drill. I don't have to repeat it. But I do repeat it. I don't have to, but I do. I'm joined by my main man, T. T, what are you saying, man?
Well, go on, bro.
Wow, go on. When you say it, I don't know why it sounds weird when you say it. Maybe
because you know I'm not from London.
Yeah, exactly. What do you lot say there? Hey, y'all. What you all doing? What do you lot say?
We'll say what's good, bro? What's going on, bro?
Well, we say that as well. We say that as well. We don't always say what we want, but
it just sounded a little different to it. But
yeah, it does. What's the weather like over there?
It's like 8. So y'all do Celsius.
You don't have summer over there. We don't really have experience it over in the UK, man.
Oh no, we get summer here, brother. It gets hot here. Yeah, it's just y'all do Celsius. That conversion, like, okay, so what's hot? Well, what's considered hot?
It's always you lot that always change it up. Like, we say tomato, you lot say tomato. Like, it's always you. Like, it's not our fault. You lot have just remixed the whole English language. It's called English for a reason, and it's just remixed. But
we had to edit it.
Well, you did. You have edited. Yeah, I mean, but I guess it's good that we still understand each other. Let's just say that. Well, look, enough of language talk. We're not here to compare America to the UK. We're here to talk about Edouard, and not just Edouard, and general Palace news. But T, we mentioned Edouard literally a week ago. Yeah, it was last week that we spoke about Edouard being potentially up for sale. Today, a report coming out from Edmund Brack, and he said the following. He said that the Eagles value Edouard, which we didn't know last time around 20 million pounds. T. That is the valuation that Crystal Palace are looking for this summer, as we are looking to let go of Odsonne Edouard. For you, 20 million pound. I mean, that's a profit. Is that ambitious?
For me, it was a surprise, a little bit ambitious, but I guess at the same time, he did still score 7 goals for us last season, and with more appearances, he could have scored a lot more, I think. So I think the valuation probably comes off of his ability and what he could be doing, and I also think that he'll probably be doing it outside of the Premier League. So with that being said, he could be a lot more successful too. I don't know if we'll get that dollar amount, but we'll see.
It's not even a bad track. It's confusing with Edouard, but we're going to, of course, talk about it now. Twisted saying that's delusional, £10 million max. I don't think it's that bad. I just don't.
I mean, he has 7. He has 7 goals in the Premier League.
I just think it's a case of. I think his game is limited. Let me just say that, but he still scored goals, T. So, I think that is the reason why we set that price tag. And of course, if you want 15 million pounds, you're not going to say 50 million pounds. That's what you want. You put another 5 million on top of that, and then you negotiate down to 15 or so. But it seems like either profit or money back for Edouard. And when I first saw it, I was like, I don't know how we're going to end up getting a profit over him. But then thinking about it, it seems like maybe, even if we set this 20 million pound price tag on Edouard, it doesn't necessarily mean that we won't sell for anything less than that. I think we're not losing anything on Edouard. And we shouldn't, to be fair. We shouldn't, because he has proven himself. And those teams that are getting promoted up to the league, they, 50 million pound for Edouard, who have scored goals in the Premier League, is not a bad shout. I just think his game is limited and it doesn't suit Glasgow football. What I think is limited about Edouard is that, apart from inside the box, and if you give him the ball and he's in front of goal, then yeah, he might score a goal or two. But apart from that, his game is very limited. I think his game is very limited. I've always said I never thought that he could play out wide because he just doesn't have the technical ability to go past players like any other winger or forward does. Like his game is just limited for me. But saying that, maybe if he fits the system, I think system is very important for him. If he fits the system where he gets lots of opportunities in front of goal, he still scores goals.
Yeah, I think the thing about it is, the one thing you want from your striker is a striker who can finish and score goals, and that's what he is in a lot of senses. You put him in the right system, which probably is one that's more direct, a more direct style of play where you're getting it straight up, getting into the box, whether that be for crossing or through the middle, and getting him opportunities to take shots in the box. He could easily get you double-digit goals. I mean, being quite honest, he was before his injury, he was on his way to getting that for us this year. You know what I mean? So I think that's why he still holds a pretty decent amount of value. And what we probably saw with the valuation of the 20 million, maybe that is just to ensure that even with the floor of the 14 that we paid for him, we'll get our money back.
Where do you think he ends up then? Does he still stay in the Premier League?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Because I think that his game is better suited to a different style of football. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to a Ligue 1, maybe a Serie A. One of those, I think those are the two that stand out the most to me. Maybe even a Portugal, but I think the first two are the ones that stand out to me the most.
I think if he was to stay in the Premier League, realistically, I see it being a promoted side. And saying that, if you're going to ask me for which side, I don't know. I'm just thinking logically, maybe for promoted side. Then again, they might not need a striker, depending on their situations. But yeah, I don't think he joins another Premier League side. I don't. And it's weird to say that because he has scored goals in the Premier League. He has. But as someone mentioned in the chat, it's, I think the biggest word and the best word to use for Edouard is that creativity. He lacks creativity. He just doesn't have it in his game. And that is his limitation. And you need that. You need a player that sometimes can offer a bit more than just in front of goal. That's all he can do. But
to play devil's advocate, there are a lot of really successful strikers out there that lack creativity, that have had great careers.
There are, but he just doesn't suit our system. He doesn't suit our system.
No, for us, no.
That's the thing.
I'm saying, he can go somewhere and be productive and have success is what I was getting at.
Yeah. He's just very limited on the ball. Animal saying maybe links up with Vieira at Strasbourg.
Not a bad shot. Not a bad shot. And Strasbourg's got the money. Backed by Chelsea, they've got the money too.
Yeah, Geiger's saying I think Edouard's wages might be an issue for some teams. £84,000 a week. That's rumored, of course. Yeah, I mean wages on top of the fee that we're talking about, 15, 20 million pound. It won't be easy, but it's good that we're getting this. Well, we're trying to get it sorted before the window even opens. So hopefully, Edouard's camp, Palace, we just try to find a club where he just fits in. And we get our money back. And look, what the reason why we need to sell him earlier, as early as possible, is because if we leave it late, we have to find a replacement, and that's when you go into the tricky business of should we sell him, should we not? Oh, there's only 2 weeks left of the window. We can't do that. We need to make sure Edouard is sold. We have a replacement lined up. Everything's sorted. We can't leave it to the last few weeks of the window or the last week of the window, and things get a bit scary about having a replacement. Mateta needs a backup option there. As good as he has been for us, God forbid if he has an injury, if he's fatigued, you can't expect him to start every single game, cup game, Premier League game or so. So let's have a capable striker behind Mateta, and that's the answer is not Edouard. So let's see who it will be. But look, if you're watching a replay, let us know your thoughts on the Edouard price tag. Of course, we spoke about Edouard last week about him being up for sale. Do you think that's a bit too much? 15 to 20 million pound? Could Palace get that? Would it be lower? Maybe higher? I thought it would be higher, but let us know in the comment section down below. Nick saying, how can he say he doesn't suit system? He has not been given a chance to look at Mateta players. Need proper runs of games, not just 5 to 15 minutes. He has been given a chance. He's been at Palace for how many years? So we know what Edouard can do or not. He just simply doesn't suit Glasgow football. I
think the biggest issue with
And I've been Edouard's being
ideal. Yeah, I think the biggest thing for being ideal in Glasner's system is the fact that he's not the best at holding up play.
Yeah,
I think that's a really big piece of it. And that's not really who he is necessarily. Twisted Baba said, T name one. I'm thinking he's talking about strikers that have had really good careers that aren't super creative. Edison Cavani, Olivier Giroud.
But then Giroud, but all those players still have something else to their game, even though they're not creative, but like the hold up play or something like this.
Yeah, but he was saying, but we were talking about that piece. Like there is to say that he could still be really have a good career, being the player that he is if he finds the right system.
Haaland is a very good example there. Yeah, from unfortunate. Haaland is not that creative, to be fair. Yeah, he isn't, but he's very good in front of goal. Then again, yeah, if there's a system that suits him, then fair enough. But I just think his game is limited, and I've been praising Edouard over Mateta for years, but from the minute he's joined to now, different managers as well, opportunity, like kind of seen enough of Edouard to tell that he's just not going to be that type of player. But let's see who's actually interested, because of course, if you want to sell the player, you have to have clubs that end up buying him, and there might not be that many buyers of Edouard. There might not be that much interest. I'll be surprised if there isn't, because he has scored goals. So yeah, let's see what happens with that. But now let's move on to contracts. Contracts. Today, there's a lot of news about Crystal Palace extensions and players leaving. So let's go through them. Nathaniel Clyne has extended his stay at the club until summer 2025. Remy Matthews has also signed a new deal till the summer of 2025. Danny Imre has been offered a new contract by Crystal Palace, which is interesting because we've been speaking about him quite a bit in this offseason. And then we've got the Crystal Palace Academy players that have left the club. Kelvin Agho, John Kiomani Gordon, Noah Watson, Vontae Williams as well. Those four players have now left Crystal Palace. And also another player that has, which is quite significant due to the drama that's been going on, is that Nathan Ferguson. He will be departing the club after his contract expires this summer. So let's start off with the players that signed a new deal. Nathaniel Clyne, Roman Matthews. I think, Clyne has been playing like prime Maldini. And I think he's deserved a new contract extension. I haven't got any worries about that. I don't think he'll get as many minutes next season. I'll be very surprised if he does. But any objections with the two extensions? Roman Matthews? I've got no problems with that either.
No, I think keeping Remy Matthews for that third goalkeeper position allows us to comfortably loan out both Whitworth and Goodman for next season, which is a good thing because I don't know. I have a feeling about Owen Goodman. Like with another year of first team experience, we could see him getting the opportunity with us soon. So I think it's good to just go ahead and get that squared away. I'm interested to see what we do now with the other goalkeepers that we have and what that backup situation ends up looking like going into next year.
Yeah, Evan had a question saying, does Matthews mean Johnson leaves? I don't think so. I don't think there's any link there.
Not necessarily.
Furcho's goalie. But then again, I would be surprised if Johnson and Henderson stay this season or the upcoming season anyways. So, I don't think it impacts Johnston, but I don't.
Yeah, I think Johnston could leave or stay regardless of what would happen with Remy Matthews.
Yeah, look, if we didn't sign Chadi Riyad and we extended Nathaniel Clyne, then I would have been like, oh, another cheap option. That's frustrating. Why I'm not improving? Look, Clyne's done well for the last few games under Glasner. That's great, but look at his age. Let's try bringing someone else. But there's already an answer for that. We're signing another centre half. So I think this Clyne deal is, and remember, there's a 25-man squad. He's part of that 25-man squad. It doesn't mean that he'll play, significant minutes. It's just that you have to have the players there. And I think he's a solid player to have at the club, especially how he played under Glasner. So as long as it's not crazy wages, which it shouldn't be because he signed another extension and it just got announced just now. So clearly they were in talks with Clyne for during the off season rather than it being done early. So as long as the club are happy, I have no problem with it because we have another centre half. Remy Matthews is not even a discussion for me. He's a third choice goalie. Third choice goalies, you're not going to sign another first choice option and keep him third choice. Like it is what it is. Remy Matthews just stays at the club. You'll probably barely play. If he plays, then it's a bit scary, but that's not a problem for me. So both of them I'm happy with. Now, Danny Imre, who's been offered a new deal at the club. Are you surprised about that? I didn't realize that his contract was running out.
I had no idea either, but I'm not surprised that we decided to re-sign him because I think that gives him a chance to step in and hopefully get a chance with the first team in the summer. Kind of like what we saw during that little break that we had where we went out to Marbella and he went with the first team and played in that exhibition match and got some minutes. So wouldn't be surprised to see him really get a chance to solidify himself in the first team in the summer, possibly. If not, if that doesn't work out, then probably see him go out on loan somewhere.
Yeah, look, I've seen him, and we will answer your questions as well because there's a question about Imre. I see him as a potential backup option next year. So hopefully he signs a new deal. I'll be very shocked if he doesn't. And he's done well for us last year as well. So yeah, I'm happy with the direction that Imre is going in. And that one hasn't been announced yet. It's just that we've offered a new deal to him. So fingers crossed that that's all sorted. Now, the players that's leaving the club or left the club that we've mentioned, names out there. I've mentioned Agho, John Kiamani Gordon, Noah Watson, Vontae Williams. Any surprises there?
Vontae Williams was the big.
Yeah, you mentioned that the other day.
We talked about Gordon a bit. I heard about Gordon leaving after he returned, so I wasn't surprised by that one. Figured Noah Watson probably would leave. The Kelvin Agho kid, that's the guy that, like, literally some people say doesn't really exist. The Nigerian kid that came over during Patrick Vieira's time and then immediately went out on loan. And we literally never saw him until like
we're never gonna see him.
Yeah, never.
He's leaving the club. He's leaving the club. Has he not played?
No, he never played for us. Like he immediately went out on loan upon signing with us, and he went on loan for consecutive years, and now we're releasing him. So
yeah, he's never played for us, but he's leaving as well. So I'm pretty sure not many people are going to be crying over that because he hasn't played for us. But the biggest one that I've left to last is Nathan Ferguson. He'll be departing the club this summer. Now, with this topic, I don't want to. Of course, the easy thing to say is thank God, Ferguson's leaving. I'm looking at the other side of things. Look, business-wise, it makes sense to get rid of Nathan Ferguson. It's understandable. Injury prone, hasn't contributed pretty much at all to Palace. We haven't paid significant money towards him, but it just hasn't worked out. This it's easy to say all of that, and that is the business side of things, but also the other side of things, praise to Nathan Ferguson. Because this is honestly, if I'm in his shoes, it's scary times. He's only 23 years old. His reputation is absolutely tarnished due to what's happened at Palace and his injuries. And he's still a young footballer. You have to remember that. He's a young footballer. He's grew up in the football environment. And, praise him, and hopefully he's well advised, because it's not, we can laugh, we can do all of that, but I don't think it's time for Nathan Ferguson. Like, his business-wise is good. Like, it's understandable why we moved on, but on a personal level, being 23, being that young, not being your career just going downwards, like, you could easily get lost in track. Like, hopefully he's well advised and hopefully he's in the right space, because it is not easy. It's not easy, and it's sad. It's sad what's actually happened to him.
Yeah, it is, man. I mean, the fact that he originally came in with, for us, with the idea of eventually becoming our everyday right back. You know what I mean? And from that point to now, we're in those 4 years, I want to say. He's only made 8 minutes of 8 minutes of first team football. It's tough.
Scary.
Yeah, but it is 100%. I think it's 100% the right move for both the club and the player. He needs to go somewhere where he can have a reset and try to rediscover his game. You know what I mean? He was playing on a high coming into Crystal Palace, and unfortunately, had never had the chance to really replicate that form that he had when he's at West Brom. So, my hope is that he can go somewhere and, you know, be able to find some type of form and continue his career in a good fashion.
Yeah, the most important thing is he goes somewhere and he continues his career. That's the most important thing at the point. It was not going to work out at Palace. I mean, as you said, 3 to 4 years and 8 minutes is shocking. But yeah, I don't know what you done there to put me on the main screen, but I didn't I didn't press anything. And you went on mute as well. I don't know what you're.
I don't know what just happened there.
But yeah, I do hope that he finds somewhere and just settles down, because I genuinely don't know what on earth is going on with his body. But it's not normal. It is not.
Nah, it's not. I mean, and it was, and the thing about it, which is interesting, like, you know, you have a lot of players that will have recurring injuries on the same areas of the body. You know what I mean? He had different injuries.
It's weird.
Like, he dealt with knee, he dealt with hamstring, he dealt with, like, I think foot and ankle at one point. So, I mean, all of them were, I think, lower extremity injuries that he dealt with, but it's not like he was dealing with one, like, nagging type of injury. Like, he had the whole spectrum of injuries that he was dealing with during this time.
He did. Let's see what happens with him. But look, Klein is staying, people. Remy Matthews is also here. Danny Imre has been offered a new contract, and academy players, including Nathan Ferguson, are leaving the football club. And also, if you just joined us now, we spoke about Edouard. So when we wrap up, make sure to go to the start of the video where we discuss Edouard's price tag. Can we get him? Where could he go? And more, based on the latest reports that's come out today. Now, let's go through some of the questions before we wrap up. Ab saying, do you think Ryan Sessegnon would be a good addition on the free? We've kind of spoke about this, feels like every day at this point. But yes,
now he has officially been released.
He's officially been released. So we'll quickly mention him again. I think it would be a good option on the free if he wants to, compete with Mitchell. But my stance is that surely he wants to play regular first team football, and I don't think we can guarantee that at Palace.
And I feel the same way. I think it would be a great signing to have. And it makes me wonder, though, D, like, because thinking back on his recent injury history, hamstrings has been a really big problem for him. And, how much he has or hasn't played. I saw a stat that said that when he was at Fulham in his last year, he had made 100, I think they said, like 130 some odd appearances by the time he was 19. Since then, so 5 years later, he's only at 174, and it's like, man, so he really hasn't played a lot of football at all over the past 5 years. So it makes me wonder if, man, maybe he just wants to get on somewhere and just be able to just stay healthy. And I don't know. So who knows what he's feeling like or what his team's feeling like. But in our case, if we were able to add him on the free, I think that would be a positive for us. Let me just say
yeah, but there's no reports, by the way. That's
no reports.
To clarify that as well, we're just talking as Palace fans rather than talking about speculation right now. Adam was saying, will we see Imre on the bench this season, or will he get a loan move? I think he has a role right now as his squad stands to be maybe on the bench, to be back up to Munoz. But first of all, he needs to sign that new contract.
Yeah.
And then we could talk about this. But yeah, I don't think he'll get a loan move to you. Do you?
I guess I think his future. I think his future is highly dependent on this summer and how he plays in the preseason. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be with the first team throughout the preseason. So when they come over here to the States and when they play other preseason, I think he'll be there the whole of the way, given an opportunity to make appearances and show what he can do. And I think based on that is really what's going to determine whether he stays on with the first team or whether he gets a loan out somewhere else.
Yeah. JSP saying, do we sign a player over 30 million this year? I think the answer to that is that if we sell one of the significant players, then potentially. But right now, as it stands, no, I don't think that's going to happen because we don't need to spend £30 million on a depth player. I don't think we need any starters if the squad remains as it is right now. So it's all about.
And even, I mean, if we sold one of our big players, I still don't think we would spend 30. To be honest with you, because I don't know, that will be a little bit counterintuitive to what we're looking to do as far as our model is concerned. But
yeah,
I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I guess time will tell. Unfortunately, same. Do you think we'll sign Adebayo from Luton if Edouard is sold? We've spoke about him before. There's been no rumors to indicate that we'll go after him.
That's a good shout.
So I don't know if we'll say. I don't know if I think that we'll sign him, but we spoke about him here too.
Mm-hmm. I think it could be a good potential move as far as getting a quality striker to bring in to back up Mateta and push him. I think that'd be a good option, but haven't seen any rumors to being true.
Yeah, JSP saying, do we sell IU? According to reports, there's a chance that IU could be sold, especially if Kamada comes in as well. It makes sense. But whether we actually sell him, that's another question. But then again, just like Edouard, there should be some interest for IU somewhere. He's a good squad.
Yeah, there definitely will be. There definitely will be.
Yeah. And he has another question saying, how much do you think Joe Bellingham would cost? Well, based on reports, they say they want £20 million, so around 15 to 20. But there are other clubs that are also interested in him, so he won't go for the cheaper end. It depends on how much other clubs value him, but with more competition, it makes it a bit more difficult to get a deal sorted for him. So yeah. Is there any other comments? Let's go through the comments before we wrap up. Return to Fulham. People are talking about maybe Sessegnon and Ferguson should start a team. Croc United. That is harsh.
That's rough.
Yeah. The Bear saying will Schlupp score another screamer to stay at the club again? Well, I don't know.
I don't know. If not, he'll score at somebody else's club next year.
Exactly, because he's another player that didn't get mentioned as much as IU, but potentially could get sold this summer. But then again, I think Schlupp is a bit more versatile, especially the left back position. So let's see. They might not want to sell Schlupp as much as they want to sell Jordan Ayew. Would you consider Jadon Sancho for 40?
Is that his brother?
Yeah, Jason and
he means Sancho.
He's not leaving for £40 million, and if he's leaving, he's not coming to Palace. I mean, Dortmund will get him for £40 million, so that's not even part of my thought right now. There's no chance that Sancho. Well, and also if we keep Eze Elise, I mean, Sancho's not going to come to Palace to play bench or so. Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't do that. That's not even a question. I don't think that's realistic right now. That's outrageous, as we were talking about yesterday. That's what you call outrageous potential transfer rumor. Yes, exactly. Jason and Jaden. But look, that's it from me and T today, people. We're not going to keep it long. We are done here. If you're just joining us now, make sure to check out the start of the show where we talk about Edouard and also some new contract extensions and players leaving the football club. We've also answered questions as well. If you have enjoyed this, please hit the like button, subscribe. We're reaching 5,000 subscribers. The community is growing, all thanks to you lot. So thank you so much for your support. That's it from me and T. And until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.